everyone, I'm back. My name is Zanelle Nguriathi, and I am a counseling psychologist and a wellness coach at Nafsi Wellness. And I'm back on the second episode of Behavior Change. Second episode to me, but I know you all are avid followers of HorizonTV, so I'm really glad to be here. And today we're going to talk about procrastination. Yes, the big monster in the room, procrastination. Now, when I was here in the last episode, I talked a lot about mental strength and how to build it, so to speak. And I talked about the process of identifying thoughts. And I think that's still very important to what I'm speaking about today. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just head on over to the previous section and have a look-see. I'm looking forward to kind of dissect what procrastination is from my point of view. So I genuinely hope that you can stay seated. I'll make it brief. So let's talk about procrastination. I wouldn't go into a lot of terminology about what procrastination is, but so to speak, procrastination is basically a form of reluctance. When you're set to do a task, you keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, never really achieving it up until it gets to a deadline, right? And then when you get to the deadline, you do it in a complete rush. You have the task done in a complete rush. And after you're done, you linger in regret, knowing full well you could have done the task more efficiently, more professionally, even if we're referring to work, even better. Like, it's not matching the standards you had for that particular task. And you ask yourself, why am I a procrastinator? And for some of you, you could be post, like this is a thing of the past, it no longer affects you. But for other people, this could just be something that you've dealt with for a long time. And so let's get to the root of it. In my opinion, procrastination is a form of reluctance. There is something about the task that you want to do that is holding you back. And now is an opportunity for you to sit down and really think about it. So let's say, for example, the task is an assignment. If you're a student in school and you've been given an assignment in class today, and you take it back, immediately you get it, you're like, this one I'll do it later. Right? So that evening, it's not, this is a theoretical situation. It's not Saturday. Let's take, for example, it's like a Tuesday. Tuesday, the class just ended. It's in the afternoon. So what do? You head on over to, let's say, the hostels. You're not really doing much in the hostels after class, right? So it's easy for you to, if we examine logical reasons, you could do the assignment then and there. But you say, I have time. This one, it's going to be submitted in like 2 weeks. I have time, right? So logically, what's stopping you from finishing that assignment? If this is something that you know can get done in an hour's time, close to the deadline, why not do it in an hour's time after the lecture? What's making it hard? Some will say, I have a schedule. Okay, fine. Let's go down that rabbit hole of like logically dissecting the excuses you have prepared. Let's say you have other classes. That's a valid excuse. Let's say you have an appointment. That's a valid excuse. Let's say you're commuting. I don't know if that's a valid excuse, so to speak, because that's an opportunity for you to research about the assignment while on your way home. Some might say, I'm so tired, I don't know if I have the energy to do so. And that's a valid excuse. Valid reason. That's not an excuse. We don't know. Anyway, so let's say you push it. Yes, you're tired, you push it. You do it in the morning. This is something you can do in the morning. But who's to say your schedule the following day will allow for that time? Right? And so what I'd like you to do personally is to really look at the logical reasons why you're putting off something that you could do in 2 hours or less. If you need to split it into recognizable portions so you can do the research and then put it all together. Because, at the end of the day, this is something that is causing you so much anguish on every single task that you do dealing with assignments, right? So then ask yourself, is it the assignments? Are you doubting your ability to come up with assignments? Really these are just questions off the top of my head at this point, because as a viewer, I can only give the camera what I'm talking about. But I hope you're taking the time to really think about this and apply. The next time you encounter a decision and you're procrastinating a task, I want you to think about the real reason this is causing you so much stress that you have to put it off. What could it be? Could it be imposter syndrome? Could it be you're ill-equipped? And if you're ill-equipped to handle it, I hope that as you procrastinate, as you put it off, you're also equipping yourself with like the task of finding out how to deal with what you don't have to help you overcome it. Because running away does not mean like the task is going to go away. Okay? So let's talk about the effects of procrastination. Anxiety. You're hardly able to focus on anything else fully because you keep thinking at the back of my mind, I have something that I need to get done, right? Every time, like even as you do, you're constantly eyeing the clock. And let's talk about, like, aside from anxiety, there is so much restlessness in the body. You're always on tenterhooks, like you don't know. You're always glancing at the clock, waiting for that scheduled time that you've put the activity off to and dreading it at the same time. Okay? So I'm going to give you a resource here now to help you deal with the procrastination. But it's a 1-3-5 method. And it's basically, whenever you have a task, consider doing it in 1 minute, in 3 minutes, or in 5 minutes. Like, is it something that can be done in 1 minute? Examine. If it can be, get up and do it. If it's something that has to be done in 3 minutes, set aside. No. I know you are hoping that I would say set aside time, but nah. We're not procrastinators anymore, okay? So 3 minutes. Do it in 3 minutes. Set a timer and begin. And like all things with behavior change, it takes time. Just because you've started something does not mean that instantly you'll be able to get it. Just the same way when you were a child, you started to crawl and then you started to walk. Before you knew it, you were running. That's how it goes. I would ask that you give yourself grace every time you fall off the wagon of consistency. Because how you also care for yourself after a loss, after a failure, is how you remind yourself to try again. It gives you the strength to try again. If you're harsh on yourself after a failure, it's harder to try again. Okay? So be gentle, give yourself grace. See the failure for what it was, outside of your capabilities. And then try again. Try again. Try again. Be objective with your capabilities. Yeah? Like, jione tu venye uko, and objectively uone what your shortcomings are versus what you could do to get better. Yes? And whenever you encounter a situation or a challenge, remind yourself that you are new in this life. Yeah? You are new in this life. And just as much as you give other people grace, as you give your family members grace, as you give a stranger grace in a matatu for stepping on your shoes, as you give, the person who is occupying almost 3/4 of your seat in a matatu grace, I hope that you can give yourself grace as well. Because at the end of the day, you are just as human as the rest of them are, and you deserve that. Yes? Yes. Lastly, with procrastination, I would encourage an accountability partner. An accountability partner is someone who will track your progress with you and also give you support when you struggle, when you fall off the consistency wagon. Remember that you, on yourself, like as a procrastinator, it's very difficult for you to keep yourself consistent and accountable. And therefore, having someone, bringing that outside someone to just monitor you and give you support as well as keep you in check can go a long way for those guys who are not, I don't want to say responsible, but I'm going to keep it consistent and responsible. So don't be afraid to ask for help at the end of the day. Don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? Remember, we're all here, we're all human, and we're here together to complete this journey of humanity together. And I think with that, I want to wrap up by saying what I said initially in my prior topic about assessing the situation that is happening to you, and then looking at the thoughts that are moving around that situation. Yes, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please refer to the previous video where I was a guest, and you'll have a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So a situation will happen, there'll be thoughts about it, which will then trigger emotions, and the emotions will then affect how you behave at the end of the day, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind as you're observing your behavior, and really just remind yourself that awareness is key. Don't try to change it. Observe yourself first, know yourself truly, and accept yourself. Thank you so much for taking time to listen and for investing in yourself in this journey of self-awareness. I've been your guest, Zanelle Nguriathi. Check out my socials on Nafsi Wellness. And yes, I do hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.